First off, that was not my fault. Let's start there. Today is the one day that you don't get to tell me what to do. I get to tell you what to do. And that never happens.
Well, first of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
So, what is it? This big 39, huh?
If you fucking say 39 one more time.
It's 38.
I'm 38.
No, I knew that.
So you just said 39 to annoy me?
No, I actually wasn't sure if it was 38 or 39. Math isn't one of my strong points.
Yeah, you actually are terrible at numbers, so
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beernet Radio, the podcast where all your dreams come true. Today we have a special episode, a behind-the-scenes episode that we did this last year, and we thought we'd do it again. It's kind of fun to pull back the curtain and see how things are actually run here at Beernet. Millicent became president of the company last year so that I could focus more on the editorial, which is what I'm good at. And I got to tell you, it's been awesome for me.
For you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like dealing with 401ks, switching from a Roth IRA to a 401k, and like dealing with payroll setup for a new employee or somebody switching states, or I'm scratching the tip of the iceberg. You do all that bullshit, and it is bullshit.
It is.
But
somebody has to do it.
I mean, honestly, it's a full-time job just keeping up with our credit cards and passwords on credit cards and
Passwords.
expense passwords. That's a full-time job.
It is a full-time job.
I'm just so delighted that you've taken that over. And so thank you, Millicent.
You're welcome.
This is Millicent Ryne, by the way. I can't remember if I introduced you. But yeah, wave to the cameras. Our Beer, Wine, and Spirit Summit, we've been doing it for 25 years. When we started it, I would have it in 3 places in 3 years and then start over. We would have it on the East Coast in Florida somewhere. Then we would have it typically in either Arizona or Texas the next year. So that's like the middle of the country. And then the third year, we'd have it on the West Coast in California, always at the Del. Mm-hmm. In Arizona, we had it at the Phoenician. In Texas, we'd have it here, or we'd have it in Austin. And then on the East Coast for the last, 15.
I think it's like around 15 years.
We used to have it in Boca Raton. We've had it in different places, but for the past 15 years, we've had it in Palm Beach, which is really the center of the universe right now, as everybody knows. And we've had it at the Breakers, which has been a real great partnership. And, honestly, I'm surprised the Breakers still takes us, given the controversies, many controversies that we've had there. I almost think that they like us because they know there's going to be some sort of entertaining controversy that goes down.
I think that it does have something to do with it. And the more I've gotten closer with, so what I didn't realize now in this new role, and I've kind of stepped in more, Jessica obviously helps me do everything, but this summit was the first one that was actually like, I took the reins. I did the site visit with them. So we have been assigned Jeff and Shannon, and that shows my ignorance because I thought they were, the two. And no, they have multiples of Jeff's and Shannon's there because it's so big. And so
we've been the Breakers?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've been assigned to them, but I love dealing with them. And I asked to have our contract, push out further because we're done at Del in January 2026 is our last time at Hotel Del. And I was like, I'm sorry if all the Harry's been stabbed and someone peed on an ATM. And I mean, we've had thing after thing happen. And they are more than excited to have us back.
That's
like
awesome.
Shannon calls and she's like, Millicent, I'm waiting for the next 2 years, contracts to be signed. And she's like calling, and I'm like, hey, Shannon, I'm in London for 2 weeks. And she's like, no, but like, I want you to sign these because like we want you back January. And I'm talking, this was for like 30 and 31. Like,
right. And see, what's so great about that is, first of all, the Breakers is one of the nicest properties in the United States, and they know it. It's become very, especially since COVID, very expensive. However, but because of the relationship that you've built with them and we have over the years, we've locked in a pretty good price.
Very good.
So, like, if you want to stay at the Breakers, you're not going to stay there cheaper than you would coming at our summit.
No. It's kind of a huge difference. If you look at how much they charge a night for
It's mostly
a summit.
it's usually over $1,000 a night.
It's like starting, I think, now at like $1,600 a night.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you come for the summit, I mean, our rates are like it's like half that. Which don't get me wrong, that's still pricey, but you get to stay in this place that costs this much for half. Like that will never happen in your life, like unless you're there for us or
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's give a little bit of a hillbilly eulogy for the Hotel del Coronado. I know that we've had our issues there. Let me just tell you, it's been a great property. Some people, especially people on the West Coast, have asked why we've decided to do this. There's been several reasons. One being that we just don't get the numbers on the West Coast. I mean, the reality is there's been a lot of consolidation in the West Coast, especially California, amongst wholesalers, with Reyes buying everybody. So there's not as many people. On the East Coast, we get all the New York people, and it's just a high density of wholesalers all the way up from Florida to New York. And we get all the Wall Street people, and so we get more people on the East Coast.
I do have to say, being the one that looks at these numbers incessantly, because I always want to see how we can get more people there. And over the last few years, it's 100 plus more people at the Breakers for the last since like 2018.
Yeah,
so like a while. And I know COVID was in there and whatever, but that's enough years to be able to make that call.
The finances for the summit are very different than they were before COVID. Like, usually we would say how much money we're going to make, and now we say, are we going to make money?
Did we break even? Is what I asked this year.
Right,
that was the number one, and I'm like, did we break even?
Right, and you may be asking, well, God, you guys charge so much. I mean, everything's just really expensive. When you drink a beer at the reception, it's like $18 or something crazy.
Yes.
So. The other thing is that California, there's all these weird taxes and turtle habitat fees, and it's just highly regulated.
That was
COVID.
That was one of the things that like really upset me. The last bill that we got from Dell, which was last January, so January 2023, we paid like $12,000 for some sort of like historical something, and then we paid another $11,999 for something with turtles. Like, and so it was it was thousands of dollars for these fees. And I'm like, what? Like, that doesn't make anybody money. That I don't even know. Really? You're giving turtles cash? Like, where is this?
I mean,
what?
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like you hate turtles. And let's just say that I have never stayed at the Hotel del Coronado when there hasn't been aggressive hammering and jackhammering going on just outside my window or room.
Or a natural disaster.
Yeah,
we were in a tent one year. Like, I mean, we have just as equally the same drama, except ours was more self-inflicted at the Breakers. Like,
right.
Everything at Dell has just been natural disasters or jackhammering. So when we were there last January, Jessica and I always stay back because we like to look over contracts. We like to see what we can see then. Of course, it takes a while to get the final bill, but we do like to break it down while we're in person because it's much easier to like wrangle them in, especially now that they're not privately owned. We have to talk to like 18 people to get an answer as to where the Breakers is still privately owned. I know the assistant and the manager, and like I mean, we get answers like that. So Jessica and I stayed back last year to deal with final bill and whatever. And that was the year before we got caught there with weather. But we decided to treat ourselves to a massage. We'd been there a week. Jessica and I, like, it's
like it's go time. It's your Super Bowl.
It's go time. Like we are not off. Like we're just on. So I was like, we're going to get a massage. The entire massage. So then I walk out of the room more stressed than I walked in it, which that's never a good sign, right? And I'm not one to like nickel and dime and be like, give me a free service. And Jessica's very quiet compared to me. She's very quiet. She goes, those massages should be free. And I was like, whoa. I was like, normally that'd be me causing it. And they did. They comped her. But it's no matter what time of day, what time of night. And it's been like that since I can remember.
Well, I mean, it's one of the oldest and largest wooden structures in North America.
Yes.
So it's constantly having to be repaired, painted. You know, there's paint. They have I want to say probably 50 on-staff painters that do nothing but paint.
Yes.
Just with white paint everywhere. There's white paint everywhere.
And that kind of reddish paint.
Yeah, right.
Everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a beautiful hotel because it is one of the oldest. And the reason it's one of the oldest is because it hasn't burnt down. The Breakers has burned down, I think, 2 or 3 times. Yeah. So they've been lucky. I remember one time I was smoking a cigar on the balcony at the Del, and the manager's down on the beach yelling at me, "Put that out! You're not allowed to smoke on the balcony because it's a fire hazard." Another thing, not to keep just keep dragging the Del, but it is right next to the Top Gun. Naval Air Academy.
Oh my
so
God.
I mean, there's just low flying military jets
all the time.
And because it's a wooden structure, when we're on stage,
shakes.
The stage would shake and the cameras would shake.
I'll never forget John and Sammy Shahidi were on stage, and a lot of the aircrafts were coming in, and it was we were shaking.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, I can't control these flyers.
I would expect John Shahidi probably has enough power that he could ask the Navy to stop just for a few hours to stop flyovers.
He's like, hey, can you chill? My wife's here. Yeah. She's watching me on stage.
Did you see that John's back on Instagram?
I did, and because I got off Instagram, I did 11 months. Mm-hmm. It's a nice little stint in the clink, but to be fair, I got back on it in January. After 11 months being off, and I was just kind of I don't know, I was bored with it.
Yeah.
I'm bored with it.
It's the same shit, different day.
It's repetitive as fuck. Yeah. I'm bored with it. I'm just kind of and one thing that it did make me get better at being off is texting my friends and being like, hey, what are you up to?
Right.
I would just look at their story and know what they were doing and then say, oh, I see you're here. Do you want to go meet up after that or whatever? It made me kind of come back to being a human because I was on it for no reason, out of sheer boredom, which I'm not bored. I have a ton of work to do, stuff around the house, work, all of it. I have enough to keep me busy in my 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I kind of saw no need in it. And honestly, I got back on it in January for the summit, and I maybe check it once a week. I checked it today, only because it's my birthday. Right. But I check it maybe once a week.
Yeah.
It's just boring. I'm just kind of over it.
I'm with you. I think taking a break on social media is. I used to kind of think that was stupid, but I'm a total believer in it. I mean, I find I've gotten back into reading.
Oh yeah, I know.
Books instead of just scrolling, doom scrolling.
Yeah, instead of just reading stupid shit.
Yeah.
What is my favorite thing to read online?
Okay.
I think you know.
This is a test.
Well, I talk about it every day. Every day of my life.
The Daily Mail?
Yes.
Okay.
I love reading the Daily Mail, which is so, I don't even know where that came from because all of everybody that works for you, they read the Journal and the Post and all the things. I read the Daily Mail. And to be fair, I know shit before you do.
To be fair.
But I do. I read it. And then TMZ will come out with it. I always find my shit out on the Daily Mail. I read the Daily Mail every day, 7 days a week. I don't know what, I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, no, I have the app on my phone. The problem I found with the Daily Mail is they're starting to paywall a lot more of their stuff. Have you noticed that?
No, maybe I pay because I read it all the time.
Maybe you do. So what, is there any the latest scoop on Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively?
I mean, there's something every day.
Yeah.
But, she was just at South by Southwest and made herself look just as intolerable as she's always been. And Anna, my favorite is Anna Kendrick's walking by and they're like, what is it to work with Blake again? And Anna's like, oh, and just kept walking.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's shade.
Go you, though.
Yeah.
Because she could have been like, you don't know how much I didn't want to do a second one and how much more they had to pay me to deal with her bully girl bullshit.
Right.
She is such a bully.
Well, then,
She's such a bully.
Well, then they asked Anna Kendrick on the red carpet, like, what about this drama? And she goes, "Oh, I took ayahuasca, so
and
I
I forgot the last year."
Right, good bullshit. I
No,
mean,
I love
props.
Pitch Perfect, so
yeah, I heard that both of them are difficult on any sets.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I mean, I could see, I can see that, but I love Pitch Perfect, so I'm kind of like,
Yeah,
I
me
ride or die with.
yeah,
And I mean, if you're a Blake fan, you're definitely somebody that like doesn't like me, and I don't like you.
yeah.
That's just straight facts. And I knew Justin Baldoni from Jane the Virgin. Like I watched that back in the day, like back when I was like in college. Like that's how long ago that was.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking at the time, like, this guy is so hot. How is he not super famous? And the sad part of all of this is he didn't get famous from the movie. He got famous from being sued.
Right.
And that's devastating. He's worked his whole life to be an actor, and he got famous for being sued.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you what, he's going to come out on top.
I think so.
He's going to come out on top.
Well, we're a little bit off topic.
I know, sorry.
But I mean, that kind of leads me to something that I wanted to bring up is that you're starting your own podcast, which I've been asking you to do for like 2 years because I think you'd be a natural at it. And just like talking about shit like this, I think would be, what's it going to be called?
All the rumors are true.
I like that. All the rumors are true. And I'm going to be a guest, one of your first.
You're my second guest.
Okay, cool. Who's the first guest?
I'll give you guess.
It'd be your aunt.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Who else did you think it would be?
I thought it might be your gay friend.
Which one?
I know. Why am I drawing a blank?
Angel?
Angel.
Oh my God. I have a few gay friends.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
All the rumors are true.
Yeah. Hard launch today, actually.
All right.
We start recording next week.
Cool.
Big shout out to you and Sean. You and Sean came over. Mm-hmm. Well, it's been multiple trips with electricians and all the things. The studio is officially set up, and we start recording next week. And it's going to be fun. I'm excited. You and Sean have hounded me. It's been 3 years to be exact. Hounded me.
Well, I'm an equipment nerd, so any chance for me to buy new equipment and set it up, and so it was fun for me.
Oh, I mean, you were.
I love this. I did this.
Oh no, you were having a blast.
Yeah.
You were just.
Yeah.
Moving it all around.
of this.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
your set is a little more feminine and
I mean, it's
not feminine, but it's elegant. Whereas this is, we have a dead coyote on the wall. So
well, but mine's very casual.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm in jeans and a sweater, whatever. Mine, I am in a sweatshirt. It does not matter if it is July, August. Like I am in a sweatshirt every single day of my life. I have my sleeping mask on top of my head.
Yes, I know.
And I forget, when I have, because I have calls all the time with clients, vendors, whatever, and I always have that fucking sleep mask on my head. I always do. It's always there. And I don't even realize it's there. That's the worst part. And I have, 50 of them, but I sleep with it every night. So when I wake up, the first thing I do is pop it up and I read BBD, go over my emails, So that's one thing about my pod is very casual. Like nobody's going to be dressed up. I will be in barefoot, leggings, and a sweatshirt like I am always. Doesn't matter what.
And you encourage your watchers and listeners to also be casual, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, be casual.
Well, I mean, aren't we fucking tired
Yes.
of putting on suits
Yes.
and heels? I have fucking bunions now, dude. Bunions. And you know where those
you sure
came
you're not 39?
from?
No, what?
No, bunions come from when you wear high heels. Like, yes, some is hereditary, but if you get to the root of bunions, it's standing too long in high heels.
Huh.
You know how many years that I worked wearing dresses and high heels? Like it was nothing.
Yeah.
All day, every day. And now, really since COVID, I've been in a sweatshirt and I normally don't have pants on. And I know my neighbors. Every single one of them. Because I'll open the door and I just always have a very large sweatshirt on. For my viewers, listeners, it doesn't matter. For my viewers, if I get any, I will have pants on.
That's nice.
It's nice. They don't want to see that.
Right.
No.
I mean, Well, let's get back to the beer, wine, and spirits industry.
Yes.
Like I said before, like you've built a relationship with like Shannon at the Breakers, for instance. Like y'all go out.
She loves me.
Yeah. Like I would never have done, like when I was running everything, I didn't.
You wouldn't even answer her phone calls.
No, I don't think I ever spoke to her.
No, I don't think you could pick her out of a lineup, to be fair.
No, to be fair.
To be fair.
And also, you've engaged a lot with our readers. I'm always surprised when we go to a conference how many people know who you are and like.
What?
Well, I mean, because everybody knows who I am because I've just been around a long time.
No, everybody knows the editors because y'all write what they read.
Yeah.
Y'all have your pod. Y'all all have your own. You have your own readership. Everybody knows y'all. Me, and I feel like everybody knows Jessica too because they call her for renewals. And me, it was just kind of like, I don't know. I was just always like,
did you go on?
There.
Was that a conscious decision, like, or,
Yes.
or is that just natural?
half and half because who I am just as a person, I truly am interested in like people and their stories. I genuinely do care. I want to know when I meet you, and it doesn't matter like your position because as you know, the first time I met like Jim Cook, I had no clue. He's this like billionaire, right? I just walked straight up to him and I'm like, "Hey, I'm Millicent. Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm Jim."
Now he seeks you out.
He does. He does.
You do make friends easily. I've noticed that about you. And not just easily, but with everyone. Like, the butcher at HEB, it's just like, oh, do we have to talk to the butcher? Like,
but I like talking to people. I
know.
I like hearing their stories. I like knowing their struggles. I like knowing their wins, like, because I don't know, that's what it's about, right? Like, even though I don't go out, like when I'm out, I'm genuinely connected to who I'm talking to, and I want to know like what's going on because life is not like always good. Life's actually really hard, and there isn't a book on that. There probably is, but like today, right? I'm 38, and I just like woke up this morning and I'm like, oh shit, like I'm like close to 40, and in my mind I still think I'm fucking 28.
Me
so
too.
I'm just like, no, I don't act it. I think it.
Oh.
I just think I'm still young and I'm not. But I feel like since COVID especially, there's just so much meanness everywhere. And I genuinely like talking to people and hearing their stories. And I almost like that when I was thrown into the industry, you'd take me to conferences and I would meet these people. And I think that's why they seek me out now, because I didn't know who they were and I didn't treat them any differently.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter. Like, I don't care if you're a billionaire or if you have no money. I'm going to talk to you the same. That's like one thing you get annoyed about, like when we go out to eat. You're always like, Jesus. Yeah. And I'm like, well, sorry. Because I ask about their kids and I'm interested.
No, I know. See, I do care if they're billionaires. And, which I don't think of myself as a snob. I mean, I'm all about the working man.
You're not a snob. You're socially awkward. And people don't know that about you because you have learned to kind of mask it.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's a good point.
The night I met you 9 years ago today.
That's right. I met you on your birthday.
Yep. I never realized, because you were always very good at masking your shyness. Mm-hmm. You're actually like a really big introvert. And I feel like if I told anybody that, they would laugh in my face. They would just die laughing. And I'm like, no, if you really knew him, you would know.
Yes. I'm scared to talk on the phone. Like, when somebody calls me, I get huge anxiety.
You're scared to talk in person, too. You get very socially awkward. You, like, clam up, and then you look at me to get you out of the conversation.
Right.
Like, always. You look at me, and you're just like...
It's not a great trait for a journalist. I will give you that. But you're right. You just have to train yourself.
You've trained yourself very
Yeah.
well.
Oh, thank you.
Because everybody in the world would be like, Harry is the most extroverted, hilarious, crazy guy I know. And I'm like, no. If you really knew him, it's actually quite the opposite. You're a nerd who loves to read, and you're very, very good, even though I'm your biggest fan, but I'm your biggest hater too. Mm-hmm. You're very, very good at what you do.
Thank you.
Nobody does it better.
To be fair,
I
have been doing it longer than anybody, too.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's why what sucks for me and my role is you haven't been doing it.
No.
So, like, okay, and you're like, deal with all this. No training, zero training. I've never been trained once.
And also things had been like the guy that runs our 401k. I've never met him or spoken to him, and he's worked for us for 10 years.
No, it's been like 4 or 5. But I've never met him either.
Just engaging with all those people has been a huge help. I really don't think anybody really knows what they're doing. So,
No, fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. Exactly.
Right? I'm actually not faking it. I'm trying and I'm crying. That's honestly what I do every morning when I wake up. Like, because I feel like the worst part about what I'm fixing is hurry up and wait. Right. And the wait is like real long.
Yeah.
It's not a short wait. Like when I request something from someone, it's like, 2, 3, 4 weeks before I get like an email back, and they answered like one of my 18 questions. And then I'm like, okay, but what about this? And it is tax season, right? So like our accounting firm is top notch. I love them. I don't know what we would do without them. I'm glad you hired them.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just kind of.
Yeah. Well, you can only move as fast as your slowest vendor. So.
And that goes towards alcohol as well.
How do you figure? I'm not following you.
I'm not going to call out certain distributors or anything, but.
Slow to pay? Is that what you mean? Oh, slow to subscribe? Oh, forwarding? Email forwarding? Yeah. So, this is, you guys that are just like forwarding to hundreds of people a day, this is your warning.
I see you.
This bitch right here
see you.
is looking at that. I never looked at it.
Yeah.
I was steal from me, please.
And a few of y'all have already been cut off. I don't know where I'm looking.
You don't have to look far from this house, actually.
I'm like, No, that's another thing. Cracking some whips on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not playing anymore.
No playing. All right. Well, anything else?
I don't think so. Glad we did our yearly pod. And honestly, actually, there is something else. I made fun of you, talk shit, all the things when you started the pod like 5 years ago.
Beernet Radio.
I did. I did. Because I was like, you're too ADHD to even focus on editing and helping the editors and whatever. And I was just like, this is just one more thing to add to your plate to get you distracted. Because as we know you, you get hobbies and you play with them for a little bit and then you're done.
Right.
And then you go on to your next one and on to your next one. Right. So I thought this was going to be that same energy. And I was wrong. And I get a lot, but I got a lot, at the summit. A lot of people like it. They like to watch it. They like to listen to it, whatever. Yeah. And y'all have done a great job. And especially this.
Yeah. Well,
you built this from quite literally the ground up.
Yeah.
Like it was
fun. It was a good project for me, and I've enjoyed it. And I enjoyed doing the podcast. And really, Jen and Jordan have really improved so much that now it's easy. Like we don't have to do a lot of editing afterwards or prep work before. We can just get on. We have a rhythm now.
Well, yeah, because it's been.
Yeah, it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's been a pleasure, really, to do it. But I will, you're right. I do get heavily into hobbies and then abandon them. One of them being my one wheel.
Yeah, I know.
And, I had to stop when I got my hip replaced.
We had to stop before it because the hip was hurting so bad.
Right. But I wanted to tell you that I have news.
What is the news?
For the past 3 days, I've been riding my one wheel.
You
again.
have?
Yes, and I'm having to kind of relearn. Not relearn. I can still do it pretty well, but I have to build muscle back in my legs,
Well,
my calves especially.
I mean, yeah.
They're atrophied, basically. My legs are just like little bird legs.
You always had bird legs, though.
Thanks.
I wish I had bird legs. My thighs could kill a small person in between that. If I put somebody's neck in between my thighs, they would be dead.
You shouldn't talk about little people that way.
I mean, like a 9-year-old.
You would kill a child, really. That's, God, turtles. You hate turtles, you hate children, and you hate little people. We're keeping a list.
No. My thighs are so big. I mean, be glad you have bird legs.
Well, I mean.
But I'm glad you're back on the one wheel. And, you've done very well with the hip. I thought you were going to be a fucking nightmare, like with most things you are. Mm-hmm. You did very well.
Thanks.
I mean, you did. And we have to have the other one done.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Well, but,
you think the surgeon was just flirting with me to try to tell me?
Okay, that's one thing. Yes, the surgeon definitely has a crush on you.
He definitely has a crush on me. That's facts.
But also, like, these surgeons, everybody thinks these doctors are like above everyone else, and they're like they're so morally. No, these doctors are business people like the rest. They're greedy
First
business
off,
people.
it's a business.
It's a business, and he's like, oh, you're gonna have to have that one done. Well, might as well just schedule it. And I'm like, it's okay. Hold on, it doesn't hurt at all. And then I went and saw the other doctor on the checkup.
His partner.
He looked at the X-ray and he's like, no, your other one's fine. I was like, okay. Now we know why.
Yeah, I mean,
I ain't getting it done until it hurts.
Yeah, and
the reason I had to have it done is I fell on the one wheel and chipped it, so that aggravated it.
Okay, but if we really want to get into the details,
okay, no, let's get into it because the doctor said, "Do you sit on bar stools and drink all day?" And I was like, yeah, not anymore, but yeah, I did that for...
Yeah, and the drinking is what fucked your bone up.
Right.
I have the picture of when he cut the bone in half.
Remember, the top of it was chipped because there was a terrible accident that I had.
Let's chill with the chip. The chip was like this.
I'm just telling you.
I don't know what camera is looking at me, but it was like...
That one.
It was like this.
Yeah, that's a lot for a bone.
Okay, all 12 ribs of mine were broken at once. Don't talk to me about a chip. The bone was dead when he cut it over. Dead.
It was dead.
It was dead. I still have the pictures.
You know what? We don't need to compete. It's your birthday. You automatically win. So
no.
Yeah.
I like to. I mean,
you like to win for real.
I never want to win something for fake. Like I'm gonna win because I'm right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, good.
The doctor definitely has a crush on me.
Yeah.
So he probably was telling me.
Oh, I would go in. I would go in for checkups afterwards, and he'd be like looking over my shoulder, and I was like, "She's not here, okay? She's not with me this time." And then he'd just ask about you the whole time, like what's she like what are her interests? I'm like, stop. Can we talk? Can we talk about the X-ray that's on your screen?
Can we talk about my 12-inch?
12-inch what?
Cut from your hip.
Oh, yeah.
What?
12-inch cut all the way.
Yeah, cut.
I mean, it
wasn't 12. It was probably 8 inches, though. No. I mean, it's a big. You're like, can you look? Am I keloiding? How is the scar looking?
Oh, yeah. Who cares what your scar looks on your hip?
Of course you wouldn't.
I don't. It looks terrible, by the way, but it kind of looks badass, too. Like I'm Braveheart that I've just got out of battle. Like it looks terrible.
Like it's red?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be red for like a year. That's facts. Yeah. And you should be putting olive oil and...
Okay, Dr. Ryne.
That's my dad. Yeah. Not me.
Well, listen. I'd love to sit here
and chat with you all day. But I got to fucking go.
Somebody's got to work.
Somebody has to go deal with this 401k.
Right.
Somebody's got to go make more money.
Well, Millicent Ryne, it's been a pleasure having you on Beernet Radio.
Thanks for having me.
We'll have you back next year on your birthday again.
A year from now.
All right. Take care.
Thanks.